use it as an advantageous location.
Absolutely. You know, it's location, 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 as they say, and that's a great one. And to kind of to Kara's point there, this is a great location over here, and it's going to work out really good.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, are there any other questions or comments? Thank you, Sean. Appreciate what you do for us.
You're welcome.
Never have to call Diane Kelly up. She's always ready to go.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome.
Members of the E&F Committee. This is a busy time of the year for us, and we really appreciate all the support we get from you all. We moved into our third office in Salisaw here in the last couple of weeks. We had a ribbon cutting open house. I know Sharon in the tag office and Nikki in the child welfare group, they're very pleased with the facility. If you haven't been down to Salisaw, you need to go down there and look at our facility. It's beautiful, and everybody's very excited about the services that we're being able to deliver out of there, and also Anna and her group. We're doing 3 construction fairs. I want to thank Councilman Lay and Councilwoman Fishenhawk for sitting down with us. We are going to do 3 construction fairs, one for the Cooey Clinic at Katy Valley High School, their FFA building, on November 13th, and there will be flyers coming out. We just didn't have them ready because we're working through our communications office, but we will get them out to everybody. And then we're also having one at the J Community Building for the J Clinic on the 18th of November, and then Indian Capital Technology in Stillwell on November the 20th from Mankiller Clinic. And I've also extended an invitation to Gary and any of his construction stuff that's going on to see if they're interested in coming, as well as our rehab group. So we're hoping to kill 2 birds with 1 stone on that. We're also working with Sean and C&B on a couple of projects. Got several conference calls going on back and forth on a couple of things with some of the employment. We're also going to look at putting some signage up, and I think maybe Cheryl and her group's going to put the signage up out at the construction site so that they know where to go to if somebody drives by and sees construction going on. They'll know where to go as far as jobs. Our JD-NEG group is meeting in Siloam Springs today. They're going through the training process, and we've been meeting with the veterans groups because veterans will actually get first priority on any jobs that we have out there on the NEG, JED, NEG. And then we're also working with the, I know, all these acronyms, and we're working with workforce agencies as well. Been in contact with the Rapid Response Group for the Amazon company up in Coffeyville. We will be one of the partners whenever they go up there in December on that. And my understanding in talking with Vicki Deerling from the Rapid Response out of the Commerce Department, over half those employees are Oklahoma on this side of the fence. So she said that she would definitely make sure that we were part of that group that went up there. So we're hoping to persuade some of those people to come over to the Macy's project. Been in contact with one of the vice presidents at Macy's. They're giving us a point of contact to start working through their office on all those referrals. They realize that our office is not very far from where the location is, and so there's going to be more dialogue as we're getting closer to December because January is when they're actually going to start the hourly positions. So my staff have already been helping people with applications for some of those management positions right now. We are enhancing our service delivery with these new offices that we opened. Been in contact with the health department. Rhonda Cochran tells us that there will be space available in the new clinic at Ochaleta for us to have a place to go to do service delivery. So we're real excited about that. So we'll be doing field days up there. So Councilman Lay, I hope you're happy about that.
Yes, I am.
And then we are also going to be working to get ready for the big tarot banquet next Thursday night at the Hard Rock. And of course, Ann will tell you about the vendor because we work with the Commerce Department on this. We're expecting a bigger turnout than we've had in the past because we have more Indian vendors, and when we run into some of the tarot vendors out there, they're saying, I'll be at your tarot banquet, I'll be at your tarot vendor fair. So they're all excited. It's something that they look forward to every year, and I hope that you all can come out and be with us next Thursday night, because we're looking to have a good turnout. And it's a good networking tool for you all to be there as well. Speaker Jordan had asked for a report on our reentry program and our day training program, and I hope we got that out, because I've been gone. But John Crittenton and his staff, do you have it, Shelley? Anyway, they have put some numbers together, and this is to give you an idea of what they've done with the reentry program and what they're doing with the day training program. So, any questions?
You were missed at NCAI. But
Joe.
the staff, really, they're trained very well.
Thank you.
You know, Sharon Swepston to Rob was there, you got Andy, Vicky, Lacey was there, George Roach. They did an outstanding job. I mean, they really know their roles there. I mean, they take that NCAI various and they need to, because the other tribes look at us to take the leadership roles in a lot of those different areas.
Thank you.
But you were missed.
Thank you. Well, Sharon said that she would fill in and take notes, and
She did.
George said that he'd do whatever he needed to do. So I hope that everything went off okay. Oh, I will tell you that Rob Doherty will be emceeing the banquet for us Thursday, so it should be fun.
It should be.
Yes, Counselor Cowan Watts?
I just wanted to say thank you to you and your staff for all the visuals in the report, and I noticed you've been working on a different format, some, and it's appreciated.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions or comment from Ms. Kelly? Thank you. As always, you're doing a great job. Next up, Anna Knight, Commerce.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
You have in front of me, or in front of you, my report, I hope. I wanted to point out that I included several PowerPoint slides from Deidre Myers with the Oklahoma Department of Commerce. It was her presentation from the summit, and it has a lot of interesting information in her. She stressed in there that Northeast Oklahoma is the manufacturing hub of the entire state, and that's basically Pryor. And so anyhow, I have it in electronic format. If anyone wants it, I'm more than happy to send it to Shelley. Okay, I'll just send it to Shelley and have her send it out to everyone. It's good information, and it reflects very well. The Nora region is all of the Cherokee Nation excluding Tulsa and adding Mulgee. So it really is a picture of the Cherokee Nation. Also, on the vendor fair, we are in line to have 125 vendors, and we're kind of excited because 47 of them are new vendors that have never been to the vendor fair before. So we thought that was good. And other than that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Yes, Counselor Keener.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I just want to thank you and your group for responding to the inquiries that I get, and I send them your way, and specifically small business loans.
Good. We're more than happy to.
Thank you very much, and still a good job on the report.
Oh.
You're really up your game on the. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. I have a question for you. You've increased the vendors by a third at the vendor fair. Is that a result of contact that you have made reaching out to them, or what do you attribute that to?
We've actually, the number of vendors will be about the same as what it's been in the past. What we've done is increase the number of new vendors that have never participated in the fair before.
Okay.
And it is a matter of outreach, both through the Tarot department and through our group. We work hard to maintain regular contact with all of the Tarot vendors, trying to determine what we can do to try to help them increase their capacity.
Very good. Okay. Speaker, did you have a question or comment? Or, okay. All right. Is that all for Anna? Okay. Thank you for being here. Appreciate what you do for us. Okay. We're going to move on to tarot certifications. Has everybody looked through the certifications that are in your book? And is the list correct, Mr. Overaker?
Yes, it's correct.
Okay.
I make a motion they be approved.
Okay, we have a motion by Counselor Baker, a second by Counselor Garvin to approve the tarot certifications. All those in favor say aye. Any opposition? Ayes have it. Let's move on to our consent items, the cemetery restorations. I believe we got a new list, or got a list here. We came in. Everybody has had a chance to look over it. I'd entertain a motion to accept them.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, Counselor Keener makes a motion, Counselor Baker seconds. All those in favor of approving the cemetery assistance, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. And community assistance.
There is a new list that Gail just handed out. At the bottom is First Baptist Church of Hobart for $500. Let me see, there was one other. There's one more for Council Lady Vasquez. No, I think it is on there, so that's the 300. That's the 300, yes, it's on there also.
Okay, Counselor Gloria Jordan, did you have a comment or?
Yeah, on the, David, you want me to split that with you on Commerce? Or you wanna go through, we just do 3 ways on that?
Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
Okay, and you wanna split that other one 3 ways? Lowry?
Dry Creek or?
No, the Lowry.
Oh, yeah, we can do that.
Oh, I see down here, you guys spending some money. Just put me down, let's split all of those 3 ways.
It's, 2,500 is
Yeah.
the total, so split it 3 ways, 2,500.
Yeah, and we'll go ahead and split, Dry Creek too,
Okay,
okay?
sounds good. You get that, Jay?
Jody.
Jody?
Good.
Yeah, I made everyone's name up today. Told your niece, you know.
Yeah, you're not aware. Not enough food.
Jody, did you get that? We'll just
Okay.
split them all
Yeah.
3 ways?
Okay.
This one's okay.
You good with it? Okay.
Which ones were they again? The Lowry?
Yeah, and the Connors.
Okay.
Dry Creek.
Maybe we could get that, Don to go in there with us on Connors. That's in his district. What are we doing over
Yeah,
there?
what am I doing over there? I got Northeastern in my backyard, and you guys giving it Connors. What's going on there?
We just put you in for a third of it.
Yeah, I know, I'm kinda getting ready to rescind that.
What you get for getting up and walking along
Oh,
in the
there's
middle of a
good
meeting?
people over there.
Sure.
I'll twist Don's arm next time.
Okay, we'll give him. All right.
Okay, any other changes or questions about this list?
Make a motion to be approved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the community assistance. All those in favor say aye. Any opposition? Ayes have it. Okay, law enforcement?
There is a new list handed out.
Call one of those Trammell guys and let them know.
Okay, are there any changes that need to be made to the law enforcement list?
Just wanted to make note, as usual, it'll probably be close to the end of the year, first of the calendar year before the new funds will be available, before we have the new law enforcement funds. So,
Okay, first of the year.
Okay,
Madam Chair, I just have a question. Is this from last year?
these are the ones that have carryover funds, yes.
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. Did you make a motion?
Make a motion to be approved.
Thank you, Counselor Keener. Counselor Keener are in the motion, Counselor Garvin on the second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Well, that's what you're supposed to do. Okay, do we want to do the sports teams before we do the roads, or gonna go ahead and go in order? Let's do the sports team, since we have a separate sheet of that and
Okay.
we've got it out.
There's three of them on the list that's handed out, so.
I so move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to accept the sports team funding. All those in favor? Any opposition?
Just a comment. Are we limiting them to 2 on the sports team, or is there, we may need to look at policy if we start getting multiple requests?
Okay, for the same sponsor doing
Yes,
different teams?
yeah.
Okay.
I think that's what your
That was
concern
my
is.
concern, was on here, you got the same person, just different grades. You should combine those 2 grades.
Would it be the pleasure of the body that we look at that policy so that we don't get one person applying for multiple teams?
Definitely.
Okay.
We do that with the cemetery assistants, do we not?
Yes, we have put
And so I
a limit
think-
on the cemetery, and with your permission, I'll have Shelley put that on the agenda for next month, and we'll just look at it, because it's hard for me to comprehend that they're working with numerous teams.
Right.
It's usually they have a child on a team and they're working with one team, so, I mean, and this was right apart, so
We
you
should
had to have
combine
those
it.
kids pretty quick to make that happen. Which they could have, that could have happened. You know, I've got a brother that's 15, 16 months
Staff, I hate to give them-
below me, so it could happen, but we might better look
Okay.
at that.
Did you want to amend that, Speaker, on that, given to both, or
Well,
if you will, I'll take it
it-
friendly.
it's not in my district, but, it really does need to be limited probably to,
It's in District 1.
they're not in my district. I know they've got District 1, but they're not in my district, they're in your district.
Well, that's what I asked our secretary back there, Gail, and she said she didn't know they were in my district.
Well, have we approved?
No,
We
that's
have
what.
not.
Okay, then I would ask that we hold the first 2 until we get more information,
Okay.
cause they're not in my district.
Okay, do we need an amended motion for that? Because we do have a motion
Who
and a
made the
second.
motion?
Need a
Somebody made
motion,
it.
so
And I second it, so.
Would that,
gotta
would
make the
that be
motion with amendment.
just a friendly, and then let's look at those rules.
By all
Okay.
means.
Okay, are we clear what we're doing? Counselor Garvin, you had your hand up.
ask what sport that is.
Gail might know.
They don't even say.
I think I think it's football, but I may be wrong. It's the little,
Would you like for us to add that as an additional column in the future, is what sport they're,
That would be
yeah,
helpful.
okay.
let me look into that, Dawn, but I don't believe,
I'm just curious.
yeah. And we could go back to having the counselors sign that they know what's going on in their area. You know, we used to have a signature line there, and Gail would catch you all as you came in and just have you sign so that at least you know, and we kinda dropped that, maybe we better pick that back up again.
I'd be okay with
Good
that.
idea.
Okay.
Okay, so we have an amended motion and a second. All those in favor of the amended motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. So we'll move on to roads now.
There's one addition to the report that came out in your book, and that is under the special bridge funding for Counselor Garvin and District 4, would be an addition of $2,875 for a driveway project for Michael Kaufman.
Move for the approval.
Thank you, Counselor Garvin. I need a second. Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the roads for this month. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. Ayes have it. Okay, and then the livestock. Were there any?
I don't think we have any new ones, or no new ones added today.
We have a few that are in the
Right,
book.
Right, it's in the book, so. And we will be looking at this budget, probably we'll need to come back later in the year and increase this budget a little bit, because we run it really close. Last year added a little bit of money to it during the year, and it's kind of grown, as a lot of other things do when they start hearing about it. So it's kind of grown beyond our budget a little bit, so we'll come back at a later time and add more money to it, so.
Make the motion for its approval.
Thank you, Counselor Keener.
I'll second.
Thank you to Counselor Baker. I've got a motion and a second to approve the livestock funding. All those in favor? Any opposition? Okay, that carries.
Have to back up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sports team, we, under our policies, are paying them as they are qualified. So those three have actually already been paid. So I will need to get the policy on for next month and we can look at it. But this has already happened, so we probably need to go back and approve it.
Okay, so are you putting that in the form of a motion?
Yes, I would ask,
I'll make a
Jack?
motion that we reconsider the sports teams,
Thank you, Jack.
which we'll have to vote on that and then vote on the issue.
Second motion.
Okay, so I have a motion by Counselor Baker, a second by Counselor Garvin, that we reconsider the sports teams.
and then now we
Well, we
will
need to
vote on
vote,
it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All those in favor?
All those in favor? Any opposition? Okay, so the ayes have it.
Then I would make a motion that we go ahead and approve the three that are on the list.
So
Second.
moved.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second to approve this list. All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay.
And they did all qualify as 51% Cherokee with their blue cards and met all of our qualifications. But for next month with you all, with your permission, I will put the policies on the agenda through Shelley, and we can look at that doubling up on it. Okay.
Okay, let's move on to new business. Oh, I'm sorry,
Does
Counselor
that
Keener.
apply also to livestock auction?
I don't
Do we want to
think we
look
have
at
any
the,
doubling up on that.
Well, the livestock gets actually paid to either the fair boards or to the groups, so they don't,
They're either a 501, if I might explain.
Go ahead.
They're either a 501, a 4-H group, or an FFA group.
I guess really my question was, do we pay them before we approve it?
yes.
I believe so. I believe that's what's in our policies.
Mhm.
Okay.
But it's not, there's not really any way they can double up. They can only have one livestock auction a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my question really, but I should have been more specific.
Do you want to look at those rules again?
Well, as a body, we may as well look at the sports team at the same time.
Yeah, we can put those policies back on there also, if you want to review those policies too.
Thank
So
you.
it'd be the livestock and the ball team.
and so we'll look at those in November?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there any other policies y'all wanna put on there? Cause we have through tomorrow or through tomorrow, isn't it, to add on to that agenda? Okay, thank you.
All right, so moving on to new business, Counselor Thornton, would you take this first resolution, please?
This is a resolution authorizing Cherokee Nation Housing Rehab Program to donate surplus real estate, including a replacement home to Susan L. Brown in Sequoia County. I make a motion for its approval.
Second.
Okay, is there discussion on this? Yes, Counselor Cowan Watts?
I just want to know what the process is, because I have a couple of people that appear, from what I've read about this, to be in the same position. And they would need replacement land for the property that was deemed unsuitable. I have one floodplain and one issue with train noise. So how do we go about giving everyone similar access? What's the process?
And I really can't answer that. I think that would be either, depending on who they're working with, the housing authority or the rehab.
This is a replacement home. Couldn't rehab her house. It was in too bad a shape. And it wasn't big enough lot to go. It was too close to the highway. I mean, they couldn't set anything. house there, so they had to move to a different area and purchase a piece of property to put that home on.
Okay, maybe I misread it. I thought it was the new construction and then
It's
there was a
already built.
floodplain issue.
It's not in the floodplain.
Because in the notes, in the narrative, it says, due to the applicant's home site being located in a floodplain in Sequoia County.
I've been around almost 70 years, I've never seen a flood.
All I can go by is what's provided.
If anyone's interested, though, you can come over and I'll show it to you.
Might I-
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Looking.
I believe what this is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Thornton, this is an elder couple
It's
that applied for a replacement home through
About 5 years
rehab,
ago, to tell you the truth.
which is Mr. Ron Quall's group. And their old home is deemed inhabitable,
Right.
and it's in a flood zone, so they could not build a replacement home on the land. Well, I mean, that's what
That
I'm,
flood zone isn't there.
well, it may be a flood zone on the paperwork in the Sequoia County Clerk's office. That's what they go by, the 100-year
Well,
floodplain. And it's cheaper to get them on a new site than it is to try to bring up the level of the land.
on the old side.
That's what we were just talking about here with,
But they built on the old side.
I think
It
that's,
wasn't big enough, and it wasn't,
and I think that's what we were just talking about with Mr. Slayton, is commercially, it's feasible if you got a good location to raise the land. But if you're replacing a home, or if you're building a new home, the feasible thing is go find you another location. And I think that's what's
yeah,
happening
that's
here.
what
And I'm,
it is. Street.
okay, I want to make a comment real quick. In the reports that we get from the Housing Authority, every month there are lists of numbers of people that do not have suitable land to build a home on, nor will they accept any land that the Cherokee Nation already owns. And so there are instances where they are offered an alternate piece of property and they choose not to take it. And so in those instances, I don't know what we should do for those people when we've offered them alternate locations and that's not acceptable. So,
I'm gonna leave it at that.
okay. So we have other, okay, Counselor Lay?
Thank you, Madam Chairman, and let me ask some questions, especially for those of you, I think, who have had a lot of experience with rehab and the housing. It has to come through council to do this? Can't Ron just go out and find him a piece of property, or do we have to authorize it? guess
I
what
think
I'm-
we own this piece of property, and that's why it's coming through
We have to
council.
we have to give it to him.
I don't think we're swapping. I think
Okay.
that they just have the other piece, but we can't build on it. See, rehab is under all those, under the federal regs that,
Like
all
FHA
your
or something.
replacement homes are being paid for through NAHASTA funding.
Yeah.
So they're gonna, the home has to, or the location, the land it's on, has to qualify under the NAHASTA rules. Now, correct me if I'm speaking out of turn, but I think that's the crux here. We have an impoverished elder that needs a new home. And we could not build the replacement home where they're living at now. So we had this other site that they found to be suitable for them. And we're asking to substitute this site, and we already own this
We already own
property.
it. Okay.
It's a very special set of circumstances, doesn't have anything to do with the new housing program.
And that was the process I was trying to wrap around.
I
my
think
mind.
I'm right, Dick. I mean, I'm simplifying it, but I think this is what's happened because in the past, this was something that we have done this in the past before,
Okay,
if we had an extra lot.
thank you.
Counselor Carolyn Watts, did you have your hand up?
Yes, so in this process, we don't accept their original property and take that as a part of the exchange. We simply go out, we leave them with that property and then we go buy it, or do we we should go, I would think, take ownership and take that home down so there's no, safety issues in the community.
And that would be,
Most
I
of the
think
time,
that's
that's
one
what
of the
happens.
things they do.
I'm
But-
simply asking for clarification so I can
But
understand the process.
In this case, there wasn't enough room to build the other house and then tear this one down.
So I think it would
Most of the
even,
time, they'll build another house and then tear the old one away. That's what I've always run into until I run into this one.
so we will tear this home down, the original
We
home.
won't tear it down, they're
I
gonna
don't
live
know.
in it
I don't
until
know.
this other's gonna be
The
built,
other's already built.
on this
They live in it.
situation.
But after that a new one is built, we will be tearing it down so there's no security issues with an abandoned home.
They should.
Because we've deemed it livable, so there should be no one else in it, correct?
Well, you ask
yes,
me.
and I think this would
And
be,
then we're gonna take ownership of that property because we've given them another property, or how does that work?
go ahead, Counselor Thornton, if you know, I mean, I think that would be something that you'd have to direct to Ron Qualls.
Just a personal comment,
Yes.
if you take it, you're just gonna be paying taxes on it because you can't use federal money to build anything on it. It's gonna be too small to locate a cattle operation on it, cause it's just a lot. I mean, sometimes a gift is not it comes with so many strings, you might not be, might not be interested in it. I don't know, this is a question, I guess, for Ron, but if it was to come back to this body, I wouldn't recommend you even take it.
I didn't even know you had.
Other than maybe you do, the housing authority does remove the old sites. But I don't know what rehab does. I would think they would do the same thing because they're using the HOSTA funding.
Yes, ma'am?
I'm asking simply for the policy and the procedures, but on another note, if they're to the point where they can't afford those other things, I would be concerned that they could not afford the taxes on both properties then afterwards either, so that we would
Okay,
have some
and,
sort of solution.
and I don't know what the policies are when their property is not able to be used. I know in other instances, I've had people approach me about a home that has been abandoned. The neighbors sometimes want to buy that lot, buy that property, and our real estate department has been very, willing to work. If it's something that we don't want to have in our inventory, they've been willing to work with them to try to work something out. I simply don't know how rehab does it.
Thank you.
I
I
can't answer
appreciate the time. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Counselor Keener, did you have a comment?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. The two city lots that they will receive, and I was confused, is there a house already there?
That is my understanding.
Okay,
That
so,
we own the house. It's in our inventory. Rehab owns it. And so they're moving directly into it. That's the way I understand it.
okay. And the two city lots, will that be in close proximity to their old location? I assume it will be, but,
Counselor Thornton can answer that when he gets back.
okay. And then, is it a couple or an individual that we're giving it to? And if it's a couple, why is not the husband, I assume, name not on there? Is there a reason for that?
Maybe it's not Indian. It could be non-Indian. And usually they only put the Cherokee's name on it.
And then my final question would be, so we see Ron Qualls on the policy for the next time we want to do this?
That would be my suggestion, because I'm sure that this woman approached him about getting rehab done, and that's how the whole thing came about. I know that we have several elders that their homes are not in the shape to even rehab. You know, you don't build a good house on an old foundation. And so I think that's the process there. They went to him for rehab. It was determined that it wasn't worth rehabbing, and so we're replacing with one that was in inventory.
Okay, so what we do for one, we do for all. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Probably,
Is there, yes?
might have to modify that, what you do for one, you do for all. This, I think, is a very special set of circumstances.
Well, I mean,
I
that's
don't
the idea,
know,
you know,
but
be fair with everyone.
I think we could try to be, but we don't have lots for everyone that wants a house. I mean, I'm just being realistic. If we did, we could whittle down the list at the housing authority. I mean, we don't have 1,200 lots.
And that's why we need a policy.
Mazda has that policy.
Yeah. Mazda does have the policy written, so.
Okay.
Okay, so are we ready to vote?
Yes.
All those in favor of this resolution, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Let's move on to this budget modification.
May I say something?
Yes.
I just talked to David Pruitt, and he said that's been done numerous times over the nation. You have to talk to him when he comes in.
Thank you. All right, Jody, you want to walk us through this? It looks like it's grants for the most part.
This is, operating budget mod number 2. The total is $2,893,576, which does consist of the, 8 budget modifications on grants as total. However, there is 4 budgets in the operating mod request that net to zero. The first budget is on charitable contributions, 1010-042 under the general fund. It's a modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $8,000. This is to adjust the original estimates for the community buildings and the nutrition sites. Those 2 adjustments net to $8,000 increase. Item number 2 is the offsetting $8,000 will be taken from the general fund operations, the reserve by appropriation, and the remaining general fund reserve by appropriation will be now be $10,558,762. Items 3 and 4 are within the IHS self-governance health. They're moving some positions out of the behavioral health budget over to the billing budget. Those 2 items are also net to zero. The move is $166,301 between those 2 budgets. Like I say, all between the 4 of them, they all net to zero, but they're included in there in the total.
Okay, and,
Motion to be approved.
Second.
okay, I have a motion and a second. I do have one point of clarification that I want to make, and that is, my understanding is, we are not taking money away from behavioral health. We are simply an accounting move, reclassifying for better clarification.
Correct.
Where these people are.
Yes.
Behavioral health's budget is not being, they're not losing any staff, they're not losing any funding
Right,
whatsoever.
it's the same
Okay.
staff, they're just changing actual budgets,
Okay.
so.
Okay.
And then my second comment was on the charitable donations. I looked through the list of whom we're supporting, and I'm very pleased with that. The causes we are supporting, I think, are good choices to make. So are there any other questions or comments on this? Yes, Counselor Keener?
Thank you. That affects 3 people at behavioral health, is that correct?
Yeah, I believe it was yeah. Let's see here, the actual FTEs that were being moved.
So they're moved from behavioral health into another department?
Right, it's still within the health department, but it's within a different budget.
Okay. And what was the reasoning behind that again?
I'm guessing, I mean, they're moving to the billing department, so I'm assuming those individuals were more related to the billing functions in total, rather than behavioral health specialist or whatever, so.
I can shed a little light on that.
Admin capacity?
I had someone ask me about that. I did do some checking with health, and that was a more efficient use of personnel, is my understanding. And they were moved over into registration.
They're doing the same job duties they were and some added responsibilities, and so mainly for supervisory purposes of their functions with the changes in behavioral health, that's why they're done this way.
Lee, I had somebody inquire about that, so I had made some inquiries to make sure they're losing no benefits, no salary. It's simply a more efficient use of their time and abilities. And they're staying in health.
Then, we're cutting, let's see, how much from nutrition sites? I can't find that page where.
It's $12,000 reduction from the nutrition sites,
It's like 4,
six,
6.
six, and adding 10 to the community buildings list at 2,000 each.
And what's the rationale for cutting?
Well, when we did the original budget, it was just an estimation of how many there was actually, and at $2,000 each, and once the final numbers of each one come in, that's what we're doing. Actually, no in particular one is being cut out of the list. We just did an estimate of how many there was gonna be, and once the actual numbers came in, that's what that is. So,
It took a while to get it
Yeah.
corrected,
right,
so that's what we're talking about.
right.
And one more question on the grants. If we get a grant, where does the money go that would have been applied to that program? So if you get $100 for one program, I mean, you've been getting $100, but then you get a grant, like out of the IDC or wherever it's coming from, then you get a grant for that $100. How do you rationalize where that goes? Does that make sense, my question?
Most of these are, I would say, are in addition to programs, not necessarily taking money from IDC and putting it in a grant or whatever.
Okay,
guess
so
if that
it's a
make-
bonus to them.
Right, and some of them are, and a lot of these are also carryover reconciliations, and some of them are new awards also. Say, at the first of the year, they estimated that their grant was gonna have $100,000 left over, and they didn't, based upon their 2014 spending. And when they get the final numbers in, they say, well, we're gonna have $150,000 to spend in FY15. So some of these are just adjustments based upon carryovers, and some of them are new awards where, and a lot of them are actually, same programs that we have getting a new award, and then there's a few in there that are actually brand new awards. But generally, you're not taking from one funding source and rebudgeting it.
Go ahead.
It seems like that we are, though, but it seems,
Well, we would have budgets in there reducing IDC or reducing general fund programs if that were the case. Generally, so.
okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, Counselor Jordan, I had you down.
Just a point of clarification, just so no one makes a mistake. No one's losing money on a nutrition program. No one's losing money on a community center. We simply had to adjust the numbers in
Right.
each category. So if someone's listening out there on streaming video, no one's losing any money. Everybody's still gonna get their
Right.
nutrition money.
Right.
Everybody's still gonna get their community center money. Okay.
Some of them, like we'd estimated, there was gonna be 40, and if there ended up being actually 32 on the list, we're just saying,
Well, just so it doesn't get out
We're-
there that somebody's gonna
Right.
lose money, because that's not what's happening.
right.
Counselor Cowan Watts.
Thank you. On the behavioral health, and Connie may have to answer these questions, on that change in the movement of the 3 staff, and I don't know that I know all the details, but I'm trying to understand. How will that impact the functionality of behavioral health? It seems like you're taking away a function from behavioral health and putting it in general. Are they just being moved department-wise, and they're still gonna serve the same function in behavioral health? How are you gonna replace?
That's kind of an easy way to put it. The improved processes that we've implemented in behavioral health, we have a pre-registration process now so that we get all the right addresses and phone numbers, and the details of that are so important to make the visit effective, and billing information. And so they call the patients before, they do the pre-registration process, and then they also do a call and remind them of their appointments, so we have less no-shows and make sure everyone gets in. That is the job they're doing for behavioral health. The supervision of that function is just, that is now under the billing department.
So they'll still be doing everything, they'll still be doing behavioral health functions, but they're gonna be under the billing department.
Yes.
I wanna make sure that I heard what you said correctly.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Good. We ready to vote before we lose our quorum?
Yes.
All those in favor of the budget modification signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, are there any announcements? Jack Baker.
I'd like to recognize Linda Flores from our San Antonio Cherokee Community Organization and also with the Cherokee at Large Leadership Network.
Good to have you, Linda. Counselor Garvin has an announcement.
Looking ahead next month, I like the idea of going to Head Start for lunch. I've been doing that for many years.
Yes,
And all the meetings here, I think this is the best place to have a meeting.
very good.
Whoever did this plan, I congratulate them. Excellent.
Thank
Okay.
you, Doctor.
And did you have something in closing announcement? Counselor Karen Watts?
Okay,
Looking
I
past
thought you were looking at, I thought you'd raise your hand too, Jack. This Saturday is my last annual scholarship workshop for some time. I think Stillwell's asked me to come in December, but my big one where it's open to anyone at large or wherever is this Saturday from 1 to 4 in Claremore at the community building. And then the Rogers County Cherokee Association, which versus Lee Keener, yourself, Councilman Taylor, and myself. Their rescheduled hog fry is November 8th on Saturday. We'll be eating at noon in Taiwan. Thank you.
All right, and it'll be good.
Motion
Do-
to adjourn.
Thank you, Counselor Garvin. All those in favor of adjournment? Aye. Any opposition? All right, good work. See you guys in a couple weeks.
Lee, Joe, birthday pies.
Oh, no, I don't have to be in
You
here.
had me a pie.
Yeah, well, we got to pick, but they're in my office. They're like they don't.